Hey guys, hope you're all having an awesome night. It's a little bit later than usual, 10:14, and you might notice that I'm nursing a little bit of a black eye here. It's my badge of honor. I was from jujitsu yesterday. I did the workout in the morning, legs, hamstrings, and everything else, and then sorry, I'm exhausted. I got home and then I went back to jujitsu for 2 hours, and it's funny because I I talk about working hard, but you also know how you have to know when to quit. And I probably should have tapped out a little bit earlier. Just a massive adrenaline dump where my entire body felt sore. I could barely move. Came back. I lied in the pool for a little while, and just kind of got a bunch of electrolytes back in me because I probably took it a little bit farther than I should, and I was exhausted. But I got my workout done today. Went down a little bit later than I wanted to, of course, and did chest and abs, which is a really good workout. I'm looking forward to changing it up next week, guys. It is going to get harder, so be ready for that. Um, I'm still going to make it accomplishable, and there's nothing that we can't do in terms of substitutions if you're having issues. But it's gonna get worse before it gets better. But your body will thank you for it, because when I looked at the check-ins this weekend and I saw a lot of the changes that were being made, I was absolutely blown away. Everybody did really, really well. So shocked, and I mean, not shocked. Like I know this program works. I know it works. I've proven it works. You guys have proven it works. But I was just really surprised at the fact that the majority of the group, the vast majority of the group, managed to nail everything, and then people who didn't maybe started a little bit later or were on business trips or whatever else. So it's not like anybody just nobody regressed. Let's put it that way. So anyway, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about macros because there are some serious suggestions. People want to know about macros, and we talked about macros before. Macros, large. So the large part of your diet that your body needs to function, right? Which is of course going to be your carbohydrates, your protein, and your fat, right? Those are your macros. I'm also going to talk in the future about micros, which are of course the smaller things that your body needs to function, which have to do a lot with different um, minerals and just different minerals and kind of vitamins and stuff that your body needs to be able to function on a micro level. But I wanted to start off today with one of the most interesting subjects to me, which is actually fat. And the reason why it's interesting to me is because uh, we've had such a stigma in society against eating fats, and the truth of the matter is that your body needs fats, and the science is always changing, of course, but recently, for a long time, we thought saturated fat was bad, and now we're kind of learning that we don't. It's not necessarily so bad. Before I want to get started, I want to talk about abs being made in the kitchen, and this is why it's really important that you take the time to understand what all these things mean, and how they affect your diet. It's funny because the Canadian Food Guide, in my personal opinion, this is just my opinion, is an absolute joke. If you were to eat what's on the Canadian Food Guide in proportion to the Canadian Food Guide, there's a very there's a very high likelihood of you being um, obese or definitely overweight. So we have this, we have these stigmas against these things, but we really need to understand how foods affect our body. And until we understand that, then we'll never make the steps because we don't understand why we're making the steps and why we're eating a certain way. Um, you can't out-train a bad diet. That's the truth. God knows I've tried. I have tried. You cannot out-train a bad diet. If you're eating simple carbs, your insulin's going to spike. You're going to store things. You can work out 8 hours a day, and if you are not eating the right things, your body is not going to progress. And I think it took me a long time to realize that because when I was younger, I was extremely involved in athletics, and I had 2 rugby games and like a boxing practice almost daily. My life was athletics, and I ate whatever I wanted. There was a 4 liter of chocolate milk in the fridge at all times at home, and I probably drank one a day. And it's funny because at a certain point, I never quite stopped being active, but I became a lot less active, and my metabolism was just a slap in the face. I went from being this kid who could eat anything to putting on weight and having problems staying trim despite all the exercise that I was doing because I was used to eating like that young kid who had a natural metabolism that was soaring through the roof. So It wasn't until probably my mid-20s when I really started to realize that there is a direct correlation in between what I ate and how I looked. And there was as much of a correlation in between what I ate and how I looked as there was the work that I was putting in the gym. You can't out-train a bad diet, right? And if you eat like crap, you're gonna look like crap. If you eat well, you're gonna look good. Calorie in, calorie out, I totally disagree. A lot of calories are going to affect certain hormones in your body that are going to put you in a state where you are storing fat. So the person who's eating 150 grams in simple carbs versus the person who's eating 150 grams of complex carbs, there's no comparison. If you were to put those two side by side in a test and see the amount of body fat that they're losing versus the person who's eating simple carbs and insulin is jacked through the roof, it's not even going to be in the same league. So that being said, I want you guys to understand these things. I want to kind of talk today about fats. We're going to start off with fats. And before I really get into fat, we need to understand a little bit about cholesterol. My God, I'm having a hard time speaking. Cholesterol, right? And you guys have heard cholesterol tossed around a lot, I'm sure, by doctors and by literature that you find in the waiting room in the doctor's office. And a lot of people have the stigma associated with cholesterol, like it's a bad thing. But the truth of the matter is that there are actually 3 different types of cholesterol, and one of them is not bad whatsoever. So what is cholesterol? It's kind of like a waxy substance that doesn't really mix with your blood or with water. That's created in the liver and is transported around the system. The interesting thing is that you absolutely do need cholesterol in order to function, because it's responsible for making certain hormones. It's responsible for production of vitamin D, and it also produces substances that help you digest your food. But the funny thing about cholesterol is that naturally, our body makes all the cholesterol that we need. And of course, we ingest a massive amount of cholesterol from foods. So the good thing is that not all cholesterol is bad, and the condition of your cardiovascular system and the condition of your health is dependent on the proportion of bad cholesterol to good cholesterol. Obviously, you want your good cholesterol elevated over your lower cholesterol. So how do we do that? First of all, we have to understand how fats affect cholesterol. I'm just going to give you a really simplified version. There's 3 types of cholesterol. The bad one is low density lipoprotein, so LDL cholesterol, as I'm sure you've heard it referred to. The good one is HDL. And the difference in between these two is that LDL actually transports cholesterol around your body, whereas HDL actually snatches up cholesterol around your body, brings it back to the liver for processing. There is another cholesterol as well, which isn't spoken about as often, which is very low density lipoprotein, which is also a bad cholesterol. The only difference is that while LDL moves cholesterol around the body, very low density actually carries triglycerides around the body. So anyway, to kind of to expand on that a little bit, we're going to talk about the different fats. And the reason why I talked about cholesterol first is because the fats essentially affect cholesterol. And the way that they affect cholesterol determines whether your body is going to be predisposed to heart issues, whether you're building arterial plaque around all of your veins, or whether you're going to be healthy. So because we naturally ingest cholesterol through foods, we need to make sure that we're eating a proper proportion of healthy cholesterol, or high density, to low density. And if we're not doing that, then we're predisposed to a bunch of issues, such as heart attack, heart disease, and of course, plaque building up in all of our various veins, and improper transportation of everything from blood to nutrients to oxygen. So anyway, let's get into fats really quickly, right? A lot of us have heard about saturated fats. And saturated fats basically come from stuff like red meat. They come from the icing on your cake, you know what I mean? They come from milk chocolate, and a lot of, pizza, for example. It's all the fun stuff, right? Saturated fats. Now, saturated fats they've actually been known to increase the bad cholesterol in your body. So what we're actually learning through science, though, is that a lot of the studies that were done that seem to indicate this may not be completely accurate. So there's kind of a resurgence between saturated fats being used in the diet versus not, due to a lot of the new research that's come out, and I'll kind of post some stuff on that. But your body, saturated fats aren't, they will raise your bad cholesterol, but to say that they're an absolute game changer, the scientists tend to be kind of on the fence about this right now, and there's also a lot of benefits to saturated fats as well. Another type of fat, which is considered kind of the healthy fat, is monounsaturated fat. And the difference in between monounsaturated fat and saturated fat is that monounsaturated fats will actually reduce the amount of bad cholesterol in your body, and it'll grab it, it snatches it up, and it actually attaches to it and brings it back to your liver so that it can be disposed of. So monounsaturated fats are the good fats. You guys have all seen the avocado. Honey, you're the good kind of fat. Comes from a lot of like avocado, nuts, peanut oils, and that actually has a positive effect on, or it actually takes the negative cholesterol, brings it back to the liver, and uses it to be transported out. There's another kind of fats which are called unsaturated fats, otherwise known as omega-3 and 6, and those also decrease the amount of bad cholesterol in your body. So you get those. You guys have heard of kind of the omega fats, and I'm sure you guys have taken probably omega fat supplements before. But typically speaking, they come from fish oil, grains, chicken, canola oil, ironically enough, and oatmeal. So unsaturated fats are the kind of fats that you want to have in your diet that are going to reduce the bad fats. There's also another type of fat out there, guys, which I don't want to ignore. And I'm sure you guys have heard about this, and you heard a lot of negative talk on trans fats. Trans fats have basically been altered by a chemical process otherwise known as hydrogenation. And they significantly raise your bad cholesterol levels, and a lot of countries are actually phasing them out. There's not really anything healthy about trans fats. So just to kind of give a quick summation on some of the things that we talked about, we need fat in our diet. It's absolutely essential. Even at smaller amounts, higher amounts can be detrimental, right? When we're eating fats, we're trying to choose healthy fats. And the kind of healthy fats that we're trying to choose are not the ones that are found in the stuff that tastes really good, unfortunately. The type of fats that we're looking to use and have our body process are going to actually decrease the amount of bad cholesterol, versus the unhealthy fats are going to increase the amount of bad cholesterol throughout our body. So essentially, avocados, nut oils, right? And a lot of fats that are kind of found in grains, certain complex grains, are actually extremely good for us. You know, hemp seeds, pumpkin seeds, all those kind of things contain some really, really good fats. So I just wanted to touch briefly on fats tonight. I don't want to flood you guys with a bunch of information, but I wanted to talk about fats, break down some of the fats. I'm going to post some stuff on some of the new research behind saturated fats and why researchers lately are kind of on the fence as to whether or not they're the enemy. But clearly, trans fats, guys, are not good for you. Those are found in a lot of food that you buy in a fast food restaurant, and they can also increase inflammation in the body. We'll talk a little bit about inflammation later on, but the two things that really increase the amount of inflammation in your body, and this is bad because inflammation can actually take processes away from other parts of your body to be able to have to fend it off and fight it off, which reduces the efficiency of your overall body. It can also lead to a lot of diseases. Inflammation is caused by two things, which are primarily trans fats. Of course, an injury, if you're injured as well, can cause inflammation because that's your body's natural response to heal. But as well as sugar. Sugar has been shown time and time again to be the enemy. If you're eating sugar or you're eating things that convert quickly to glucose, you're increasing your inflammation, you're increasing your insulin levels, and it's just not good for you. So I want to chat about that a little bit tonight. Love all the posts that you guys are doing in the group. Everything is going really, really well. The workout today killed me, guys. Especially the one-handed. Where's my brain at? I'm absolutely exhausted. The one-arm press into the upper chest press absolutely destroyed me. And the rollouts. The rollouts are really good, guys. If you can get used to them and you just do a little bit at a time, eventually you're gonna nail them. You're gonna be able to go a little bit further and further. And core strength is absolutely everything. I would say if you had two types of strength that are really, really important in your body. It's your legs and it's your core, because that's the basis of absolutely every movement that we make. Even in boxing. So really make sure that you take your time, you do those ab exercises, because not doing them can also lead to back pain and imbalances. Really, really important. Other than that, guys, I just hope everything's going well. Love seeing your videos in the group. Love seeing all the posts. I'm going to keep going and doing some of these macro videos where we're going to examine other macros in a little bit more detail. But if you have any specific questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. Please post them below. Keep doing what you guys are doing. I'm super happy with the way that this thing is rolling out. Feel free to post in the group. Make the group yours. You see something funny, you see something interesting, whether it's fitness related or whatever else. I do love catching your videos, and I do enjoy your posts in the group. So keep them coming, guys. You guys have an excellent night, and I will see you all tomorrow. Take care. Bye.